Well, yeah, our government needs to have real acts of terror to keep us under control. And when they don't get the real acts of terror, they're going to fake them. And again, Adolf Hitler did exactly the same thing to his people, and the end result was World War II. And the end result of our government doing it to the American people is going to be World War III. And folks, we will lose this one.
And by the way, that's what many government heads are saying. We're really going into World War III. They are planning to hit Iran. They've got a martial law scenario here domestically, and it won't be announced as martial law. It'll be civil emergency, just like Mexico. And it's so elementary. They bring in 30 million plus illegal aliens who would be hardworking, good parts of society if they weren't given all this welfare and told to hate America, because they know the American people are waking up, so they're trying to get as many foreigners here to fill up the military and everything else to be used as a weapon, because they can have a willing group that they pay off to do it. I mean, this is high treason. This is a completely bankrupt, out-of-control group of criminals. I mean, the mere fact that they're slapping Goldman Sachs on the wrist and focusing on a few low-level traders when they ran the whole financial implosion, not just here but worldwide by design, and we have the documents. I mean, where does it end, though? I mean, I think the average American's waking up, Mike, but I don't think the average American knows just how bad it really is.
No, the average American does not. We had a friend over here the other day who's involved in the local Democratic Party and is still basically drinking the Kool-Aid for 90% of what they see on the corporate TV networks. The bottom line is what, they're pushing for this global government. I don't think they're going to get it. The end result is these bozos could bring about a whole new dark ages by collapsing the world government and not having, or collapsing all the governments of the world and not having anything credible to take its place.
Well, look what corrupt government's done in Mexico. It is collapsed. Mexico is collapsed right now. Even the small areas they kept safe for tourists have now collapsed. I mean, this is what corrupt government does. Look at North Korea. I mean, this is what we're going to turn into.
And it's absolutely horrible, and it's painful to watch for those of us who grew up in this country with this very wonderful idea of what America was supposed to be, to see America being murdered by the government itself. Not foreign terrorists, not foreign invasion, but destroyed from within by a government that has sold us out to private interests and foreign interests. It's painful to watch. It really is.
It is. Tim in New York, you're on the air. Go ahead.
It's a pleasure to speak with you.
Turn your radio off. It's good to talk to you. Turn your radio off.
Okay, I'm in a warehouse. So
okay, I'm sorry. It was just real noisy. Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I'm in New York, and I want to say, since you played that clip, the false flags are at half-mast in Times Square. I just want to go over with you the propaganda.
Wait a minute. They put the flags at half-mast when no one died?
No, I was just making an analogy. The false flags are at half-mast.
Got it.
In Times Square. The propaganda that I've seen on the local news here, last night, Fox News, since they didn't have a suspect yet, were talking about how great it was to have video surveillance. And it's a lot like the show 24. And they kept using the word sexy to describe watching video after video trying to find a terrorist, how sexy it is. And another term that the reporter used last night was that we need a world-class surveillance, was the words used. And
I've been hearing that. I've been hearing that everywhere. We need cameras everywhere, or my gosh, we might have a person or two die a year. We better give up our whole way of life and give trillions of dollars to the Chertoff group. And I had some CIA veteran, part of the Chertoff group, on Fox saying, our way of life is ended. Yeah, and then they had Congressman Israel on saying, our way of life has ended. This is a new way. Oh, my gosh, a truck full of gasoline. It's over. But every couple days, some house blows up from a gas main and kills a bunch of people. It's the end of the world. Somebody died. Mike Rivero.
Yeah, it is. It's fear-mongering, and it's panic. They're basically, the government is trying to keep us afraid. And the problem with that is once a government starts using fear to control their people, they're going to have to keep using fear to keep them under control. If the government ever lets the fear subside, if they ever let the people calm down to where they can start thinking again, then it's really going to start falling apart on them. And I think that's what's happening now, because fear is very tiring. Fear burns itself out. And I think people are too tired to be afraid anymore.
And let me add, exactly. Let me add the caveat. Let's not forget, Governor Ridge came out and wrote a book last year admitting that they were issuing the terror alerts and that they were fake, as we said 5-6 years ago. Yourself and myself and many others admitted that the terror alerts were fake for political gain. And they've been caught over and over and over and over and over again doing this.
Yeah, it is. It's all about the manipulation. I mean, they used to be able to wave communists at us, and we'd just pay taxes and send our kids off to die in wars. Then the Cold War was over, and ever since then, there's always going to be a new monster, a war on drugs, a war on terror, a war on carbon dioxide, a war on whatever. They're always going to come up with something new that we're supposed to be afraid of and give them money to protect us from.
And the New York Times also has an opinion article on their website today, Finding the Terrorist Next Door, in which they support a police state and a term that is used throughout the article as well.
Yeah, no, I've been hearing it. It's just our way of life is over. America we've got to give all the money to the banks and the military. Sorry. But again, we have an elite that's used our government and our military and our tax money to dominate the globe. Of course they're going to rob us, too. If they'll kill 1 million plus Iraqis for some weapon sales and oil and for strategic interest of Israel, of course they'll do anything to us. I mean, they see us as just as worthless as they see other people. I appreciate your call, Tim. Mike Rivero, always enjoy our once-a-month visit. Always great going back and forth with you. Very thought-provoking. And we'll talk to you again coming up in a month, God willing.
Thank you very much for having me.
You bet. There goes Mike Rivero, whatreallyhappened.com. I'm Alex Jones of Infowars.com, PrisonPlanet.tv, and PrisonPlanet.com. Don't forget our auxiliary websites, Infowars.net, JonesReport.com, and WhatIsTheEndgame.com.